Emily's first anniversary of passing was on a gloomy, cloudy day. After the annual commemorative mass at church, Samantha and I went home together and cleaned the portrait frames. They looked happy, smiling. "She looks so happy," Samantha said, gazing at the two portraits. "Yeah, right," I replied. Clasping her hands, she closed her eyes next to me. "Tom, I'm sorry. I've fallen in love with someone else. Please forgive me." After saying that, she looked straight at me and continued, "Please marry me." "My name is John Sinclair. I'm 35 and work in a factory making automotive parts. The job involves a lot of intricate tasks and often leaves me with stiff shoulders, so I've been enjoying jogging on weekends. It's true that I get tired afterward, but running and sweating it out clears my mind. Thus, I had made it a routine to run in a local park every weekend. That day, I put on my sneakers and headed out for a jog as usual. It was a beautifully sunny morning, perfect for a deep breath of fresh air. I started out full of energy, sprinting away. However, after tens of minutes, I noticed the weather turning. The forecast was for clear skies, though. As I continued running, drops of rain began to fall. Reluctantly, I looked for a place to take shelter. That's when I saw a woman sitting down on the jogging path in the same park. "What's wrong?" I normally wouldn't approach a stranger, but I couldn't just leave someone sitting in the rain. "Oh, I'm all right, thank you," she said. "Did you hurt yourself?" I asked, noticing she was holding her right ankle in pain. She looked about my age, slender and stylish. "It seems I've twisted it a bit," she replied. When I checked her ankle, it was quite swollen. I applied some cooling spray to the affected area and draped a towel over her head, offering to carry her. "No, it's all right. I'm too heavy," she protested. "But you can't walk, right? I'll just carry you to a covered spot," I insisted. Saying that, I lifted her up by her arms. We reached a covered rest area in the park where I gently set her down. "Thank you very much," she said. "No worries. I might as well rest here until the rain stops," I replied. Her name was Samantha Rio. Despite looking very young, I was surprised to hear she was actually 48. It felt like I was meeting a real-life ageless beauty for the first time. She was very cheerful, and we hit it off as if we'd known each other for ages. She had married young and had a daughter. "My daughter's already eligible to marry, but she still doesn't have a boyfriend, which worries me." Samantha laughed as she said that, clearly as a mother. Eventually, the rain stopped and the sun came out. I carried her to the main road and got her into a taxi. Although I felt more tired than during my usual jogging, it had been a pleasant time. Having exchanged contacts, she called me that night after seeing a doctor. "Thank you so much for today. If it's all right with you, would you like to meet my daughter sometime?" The unexpected offer left me a bit bewildered. However, Samantha was such a great person that I really wanted to meet her daughter too. I had been harshly dumped by a previous girlfriend after giving my all for her. I was casually discarded as a boring man. Due to that, I had some trauma with relationships, but for some reason, I felt no weariness towards Samantha and her daughter. Her daughter, named Emily, was bright and always smiling, just like her mother. We hit it off the moment we met and naturally progressed into a relationship. Samantha's husband had passed away from illness 10 years ago, so it had been just the two of them teaming up in life. They always welcomed me warmly, and I thoroughly enjoyed spending time with the three of us. After dating Emily for 6 months, I proposed. Of course, she accepted, saying, "John, let's make a happy home together." I moved in with them. However, that blissful life didn't last long. At her first medical checkup after getting married, cancer was discovered in Emily. I was incredibly down, but Samantha encouraged me with her strong demeanor. "She will be fine. Let's believe," she said. Emily quickly entered a tough battle with her illness. "I'll be fine. I won't die," she would say, her endlessly bright and positive attitude encouraging me. Although her battle with the disease was fierce, she bravely fought on. All I could do was support her by her side. Despite the treatment, she passed away unexpectedly. Both Samantha and I couldn't accept the reality, feeling as if our souls had been drained. "Emily, why did you have to die?" Samantha was exhausted from the funeral and hardly eating anything. "There's no point in me living without Emily," she said. It was shocking to hear such words from her, who had always been positive. "I've been left behind by everyone, by Tom and Emily as well," she cried. Tears streamed down Samantha's face, and even standing seemed painful for her. I'm here for you, Samantha, I said, surprising myself with those words, hoping to bring her back to her senses. Tom, thank you. You're still young, so don't worry about Emily and find someone new, she said with a weak smile. Emily was such a good-natured person that she surely would want you to be happy. Thank you, but I really can't think about that yet, I replied. Although Emily was gone, I continued to live in Samantha's home. I took advantage of her words that I could stay as long as I wanted. We shared household duties, and our unusual living situation continued just between the two of us. Yet, that life felt so comfortable that I sometimes even thought I could stay that way forever. Although I sometimes wondered how it looked to others, living with Samantha was healing for me. Then one day, an incident happened. It was raining all day, and I returned home from work as usual. Entering the house, I didn't hear Samantha's usual greeting. Hi, you must be tired, I called out. I'm home, Samantha. Are you there? I exclaimed, searching from the living room to the bathroom. I found her collapsed on the floor. Samantha, are you all right? Hang in there. Seeing her unconscious, I panicked. In such a moment, all I could do was just panic. I managed to call an ambulance on my phone, and we arrived at the hospital. The diagnosis was that Samantha had suffered a stroke. It seemed I had found her just after she fell, which likely saved her from more serious conditions. The tests showed it was in the early stages, so medication and therapy were recommended. During the 3 weeks she was hospitalized, I visited her almost every day. I didn't feel like going empty-handed, always bringing flowers or some light snacks. She always modestly refused to accept them, saying it was too much. She even told me that it wasn't necessary to visit every day. But I just wanted to see her. She gradually got better, smiled more, and seeing her like that only made me feel more affectionate towards her. While she was in the hospital, I took the opportunity to clean the house thoroughly. When she came home and saw the house, she was surprised, saying, I thought it would be much dirtier, but this is amazing, which made me happy. Those 3 weeks made me realize how happy I was just to live together in health. I was terrified of losing Samantha as well when she collapsed. Fortunately, she recovered and came back home safely. From now on, tell me if you're feeling unwell. I don't want to go through that again. Thank you for everything. If you hadn't found me, I might have been dead. Hey, stop it, even as a joke, I said in a flutter, which made her chuckle. Well, when I woke up, the first thing I thought of was your face. I dreamed of Emily. She was there. What did she say? She said it's not my time to come over there yet and to take care of you. I couldn't hold back my feelings any longer and took Samantha's hands. I agree with Emily. Samantha, can I stay by your side forever? She looked surprised. Why, John, what are you saying? She didn't mean. Yes, that's exactly what she meant. At least that's how I feel. John, I've felt this way for a long time. I'm much older than you, I'll definitely become really older than you. I know that very well. I've just realized that age doesn't matter when it comes to feelings. John, you don't understand. You might think so now, but you'll regret it someday. That won't happen. My feelings won't change. Seeing you collapse made me realize how important you are to me. From now on, I also need to take care of you. Samantha was silent for a while, but then she gently squeezed my hand back. John, thank you. Can I really? Thus, we became a couple. Even so, we didn't formalize it with marriage, just continuing to live together. Yet I was completely content and fulfilled. I hoped that peaceful life would continue forever. However, as a man, I felt I needed to make things official at some point. I planned a proposal and even prepared a ring, but I was unsure when to present it. While I was hesitating, the first anniversary of Emily's passing arrived. It was a gloomy, cloudy morning from the start. After the annual commemorative mass at church, Samantha and I went home together. On a shelf in the living room, Emily's portrait was next to that of her father, Tom. We cleaned the shelf and portrait frames, putting fresh cut flowers around their portraits. They look happy, smiling, Samantha said, looking at the 2 portraits. Yeah, right, I replied. Clasping her hands, she closed her eyes next to me. Then she suddenly said, Tom, I'm sorry. I've fallen in love with someone else. Please forgive me. Saying that, she looked straight at me and continued, John, will you marry me? I was surprised, joy welling up to the point of tears. Samantha must have been thinking things through deeply. As we continued our life together, knowing Samantha felt the same way was the greatest joy. I hadn't expected such a confession that day and regretted not bringing the ring, which was in the safety box in my bedroom. Yes, with pleasure, I replied. Then, facing the portrait of Tom, I said sincerely, Tom, I'm sorry for taking Samantha away from you, but from now on, I'll do my utmost to make her happy. Emily, I'll be the one to protect your mom from now on. We smiled at each other. On Samantha's birthday the following month, I gave her an engagement ring. I knelt in front of her like in a romantic movie and slipped the ring onto her finger. She laughed and cried with joy. She said we didn't need a wedding, but I wanted us to have one. So we did it alone in a small church. In a simple wedding dress, she looked unbelievably young, easily 20 years younger. On the night of our happy wedding, she handed me a letter. This is from Emily. Really? I asked, surprised. It seems she wrote it before she died. I found it while cleaning out her room. It's because of this letter that I could propose to you. The letter said, Dear Mom, by the time you read this, I won't be in this world anymore. Mom, thank you for bringing me into this world. I was truly happy to be your child. I think I could have been the happiest bride ever with John, whom he brought into my life. However, my only regret is leaving you behind. Don't worry about me anymore. Please chase your own happiness. You know that John loved you, right? Please accept his feelings honestly. I approve of your love. This is my last birthday present to you from heaven. I'll always be watching over you too. Love, Emily. Had Emily known my feelings even before I was aware of them? Had I unknowingly hurt her? I was moved to tears after reading the letter. Understanding what I was thinking, Samantha said Emily didn't resent you, and I think she was genuinely happy being married to you. We owe her so much. Without this letter, I wouldn't have thought of being together with you. I realized why Samantha had sought permission only from Tom in front of the portraits. Emily had already given her approval, so Samantha thought it was okay. Going through our encounter and Emily's death, I deeply understood how precious ordinary days with loved ones are. Ordinary days are not so ordinary after all, but totally precious. Samantha, let's start anew. I will cherish you for a lifetime. Thank you. I will also cherish every day with you. There will always be uncertainties ahead. Each time, I want to think of the best way to overcome them together. For myself and for my most important person, I want to find the best path. My dream is to spend a happy life without giving up until the end. I've decided to cherish every moment with her, to live a life without regrets. 2 years into our marriage, now past 50, Samantha is still full of vitality. Our neighbors even say she seems to get younger. While working, I studied to become a caregiver, earning my certification. If Samantha ever needs it, I want to be the one to take care of her. That's why I wanted to prepare. One day this year, we were again in front of Tom and Emily's portraits. As you see, we've been getting along well. We are living happily. We both addressed the portraits. Just then, a pleasant breeze passed through as if Emily was gently smiling at us.